Hey guys, check it out. You're watching Jonathan Clarke on YouTube. Oh no. Good evening. Thank you guys so much for taking the opportunity to click my thumbnail and taking another chance on me when you could have clicked on any of the 500 videos that popped up when you searched Descendants this evening. Because you clicked on my thumbnail, I want to promise you that you will hear nothing but good things about Descendants, because you deserve to hear nothing but good things about Descendants. In no way, shape, nor form, for any excuse that I could throw at you as a YouTube creator, do you deserve to hear negative reviews about your favorite Descendants stars. For whatever reason you're here, no matter if you're a fan of Dove Cameron, no matter if you're a fan of Sophia Carson, Ruby Rose Turner, Kylie Cantrell, Mila Baker, for whatever reason you found me tonight in your journey through the woods, driving your side-by-side through a rabbit hole, I can't thank you enough for that. And I want to remind you, if you didn't hear any of my podcasts over the past week, that every dream is possible no matter what their dream is, and happily ever after and fairy tales do exist. I know you hear me say this a lot about superheroes and fairy tales, but I was someone who was always raised to believe that fairy tales and happily ever after and superheroes did not exist, they weren't real. Until one day I said, the hell with this. I'm creating a YouTube channel so that everybody can feel inspired by their favorite superhero, no matter if it was the Incredible Hulk, Spider-Man, Captain America, Deadpool, whoever, or your favorite fairy tale character, Cinderella, Sleeping Beauty, Snow White, or your favorite Descendant star, Kylie Cantrell, Dove Cameron. Which the argument of who is the greatest Descendant star of all time will never cease to exist. It's always been a battle between Red, the fearless, rebellious Queen of the Heart's daughter, or Maleficent's daughter Mal, which was portrayed by Dove Cameron for the very first time ever in 2015. This franchise has changed our lives undeniably. I just read an article just a couple of nights ago where they said that the High School Musical franchise started the Disney Channel revolution. And what the Disney Channel revolution is a revolution that was capitalized on superstardom of celebrities such as Miley Cyrus and Selena Gomez. So this is what I have to say in response to that. Unquestionably and undeniably, there was a revolution started because of Miley Cyrus and the powerful portrayal she gave us as Hannah Montana. She went down in history for being the youngest Disney legend ever. Unquestionably, the character Alex Russo, portrayed by Selena Gomez at such a young age, 11, 12 years old, will forever be etched in history. But if there is ever an entry into a new generation, for a whole new generation of Disney fans, it happened because of Descendants. And I will proudly and forever and always take a bullet for every single person who ever proudly stood up amongst their peers and said they were a fan of Descendants when they said it wasn't cool. Because I know there are a lot of people out there who have been criticized for being a Descendants fan. I myself have been criticized for being a Descendants fan and supporter. But I give you my word that you will hear nothing but good things about Descendants and Zombies for as long as you are, for however long you're subscribed to this YouTube channel. And if you're somebody who's watching my videos for the first time, or boy, are you ever in for a surprise. I remember reading fairy tales such as Alice in Wonderland for the very first time over 50 years ago when I first had the opportunity to sit in front of my first fairy tale book, which was Alice in Wonderland. If not 50 years ago, at least 30 years ago, because I remember the publication date being December 27th, 1872, if that was correct, for Alice Through the Looking Glass and what she found there. Did I think it was a beautiful book? Sure, I thought it was a beautiful book. The messages were gorgeous, the messages were positive, and everybody felt inspired by it. It hit bookshelves just in time for Christmas and sold over 15,000 copies. You may be saying to yourself, were you there when it was put on the shelves? Who knows? I may have been in another life. But I remember literature for how powerful of messages were conveyed, no matter if you're talking about Alice in Wonderland, Sleeping Beauty, Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. There's a reason why Walt Disney drew inspiration from those books. It's because of the powerful messages and how many young people were inspired by the redistribution of these princesses through the eyes of Walt Disney. Let me just say this. If I worked with Disney and had access to over $158 billion of revenue, you would see a lot more done with Descendants than what you're seeing done now. This Worlds Collide tour with Descendants and Zombies coming together and sharing the same stage with 43 rated dates scheduled, that is only just one way of looking at it. And if there's success for both Descendants and Zombies, why aren't we seeing a movie where Descendants and Zombies are on the same stage, on the same movie set? I would love to see that, because I have heard critics review this for over 45 minutes on YouTube, and I have this to say to every single person who ever found time in criticizing Descendants for somebody who may have been inspired by Kylie Cantrell, Ruby Rose Turner, I call her Rube, For those of you who are new here, I was the biggest Ruby Rose Turner fan in the world, and ultimately I became a fan of the Rise of Red franchise because of Ruby Rose Turner and just how powerful of a representation of the young Queen of Hearts she gave us. I will miss her forever. I cry myself to sleep really every night because I know that Ruby is no longer going to be a part of Descendants. But because she's no longer going to be a part of Descendants 5, that does not mean we will not see Ruby Rose Turner by Descendants 6. Ruby Rose Turner will not be a part of Descendants 5, to confirm this for you guys, because there is no need for time travel, and this movie will be happening, according to the synopsis, in present-day Wonderland, so time travel has been taken out of it. But I know that if we all could go back in time and partake in time travel, there are probably a lot of mistakes we go back in time and fix. We alter our own futures, and we change the mistakes we made in the past. God knows I've made a lot of mistakes as a radio broadcaster for years, no matter if you're talking about my mistakes in the professional wrestling industry, my mistakes as a journalist just in general, and my mistakes as a person in life. We've all made mistakes, and we all have different opinions about ourselves that sometimes we often don't admit to. But I've often believed that we don't need a whole lot of friends in this life. There are people out there that go above and beyond the requirements of trying to have friends in life and have more than the other person in the line. But I've always believed that we only need 2 or 3 good friends, and if we only have 2 or 3 good friends in life, then that's pretty much all we need. I had this conversation earlier today with my friend when we were up to the store. I looked at him and I said, you know, there are never enough kind people in this world because the cashier had treated us with such kindness as we were, checking out our stuff. And I've always believed that on this YouTube channel. There are never enough kind people in this world. I mean, how many times do you pass by somebody, an everyday individual, no matter if it's in school, no matter if it's walking home, no matter if it's on the way home from your friend's house, the movies, whatever, do you pass by somebody and you say hi to them out of common courtesy, and they don't even respond to you? I know we've all fallen victim to it. Probably it's because we've all had a bad day. But should we be as villainous towards somebody? No. I think we can all draw inspiration from these characters. I know we choose to give some people the benefit of the doubt and say maybe they've been having a hard day. We don't know what that person is going through when they pass by us, but there is no excuse for being cruel to somebody who doesn't deserve it. That's what happened to Bridget's character in The Rise of Red. She was bullied, and that's why the Queen of Hearts turned out to be so villainous, because she was so envious against how people had treated her when she was a teenager. And we got that from The Rise of Red. So if there was one message that this movie conveyed, and conveyed very evidently, is that we should all stand up to our bullies and exemplify courage. And I wish that was the truest saying ever, but it's not, because there are a lot of people who haven't really drawn inspiration from this movie that probably should. If you haven't watched The Rise of Red, you probably should watch it. If you want to go back and watch it, you probably should, and just pay attention to how Bridget's character is treated in that movie, because if there's one character that you should draw inspiration from, it is her. Because I know there are people out there that are told that happily ever after doesn't exist, it's just a fairy tale. And I want to put it out there that anything is possible in this life. I've been let down more times than enough. There are more times than enough that I wish I had a pocket watch, in possession of one, and I could go back in time and change all the mistakes that I made, because God knows I made a lot of mistakes. I was also somebody in high school that didn't have a whole lot of friends, but I had 3 or 4 really good friends that I fell in with, in a group with, and that's all I needed, and I very quickly found that out. I was always a geek too, so I was always a part of the theater group. I was always a part of drama, and I was always a part of the technical aspect of drama too. So I had a hand in stage productions such as Dracula, Phantom of the Opera. I love those. High School Musical. Actually, High School Musical, they obtained the rights to perform that in high schools again earlier this year. I know D23.com were profiling it. I had a whole lot of fun as a stage manager, and people would always ask me for advice. And one of the greatest pieces of advice that I've ever given is that all you have to do is go out there and be yourself. If the audience loves you, they're going to let you know about it. If they hate you, you're going to know about it, and you're going to die trying. That was one thing that was evident with theater. You learned how to project your voice, you learned how to make characters come to life, and you always learned about how to appreciate rejection, because that was one thing that was evident about the theater companies, where that you would go into it, you wouldn't know what to expect, but the one thing that you could expect with 100% certainty was always rejection. You never expect the best performances, a Mary Jane Watson performance that Peter Parker would find himself sitting in the front row of every year in Queens, New York, watching. But you would expect rejection. And those of you that could go out there and perceive yourself for who you wanted to be and yourself and get a good audience reaction, I have all the respect in the world for you for doing that, because there are a lot of people that would go out on stage in lead roles and literally crack under pressure. I've seen people throw up in the washrooms before, many times over the years. But, it takes an incredible amount of talent and an incredible amount of courage to do what these Descendant stars did and inspire so many people like they did. I want to say this. For anyone who is using their blog to criticize Ruby Rose Turner, you really need to back off. Sure, she made the decision to leave Descendants, the franchise as a whole, but who's to say we won't see her make a glamorous return? I will be honest with each and every one of you, I'm going to miss Ruby. Ruby was a beautiful character who gave us a reason to be inspired by any Descendants character. If there's one Descendants character I will forever be inspired by, it is definitely Ruby Rose Turner. They shot Descendants here in Canada. It was a beautiful, beautiful location to shoot Descendants in. British Columbia is beautiful around this time of year. They just had the final day of production. British Columbia has beautiful oceans that are incredibly warm this time of year too. And I'm sure they had a whole lot of fun. The water is really warm in British Columbia for those of you who have not been there, and the scenery is absolutely breathtaking. I spent a lot of time in Toronto and British Columbia during my mom's teaching career. It is a beautiful place. I also want to put it out there that if the Descendants cast want to shoot it anywhere that is beautiful, I think the scenery here in Newfoundland is absolutely gorgeous, and I would love for them to shoot Descendants nearby, or either that in my backyard. I think Clarke Cantrell, let me just say this, is an incredibly talented actress that still has a long way to go at 19 years old. And I go on social media every morning and I see Clarke Cantrell subject to criticism because she's not a Trump supporter. Just last year she went on TikTok and had to explain her political point of view in reference of Donald Trump and some comments that people had given her about calling her fans cuties and stuff. I think we need to back off of Clarke Cantrell because she still has a long way to go. She has resumes as an actress that many of us would kill to have. A reoccurring role on Bizarre Vargas Tessa, Jasmine on Raven's Home. It must have been an unbelievable opportunity to work with legends such like Raven Simone, one of the co-hosts of The View, and of course the star of That's So Raven and the spin-off series Raven's Home, which Clarke Cantrell was a part of. She was also a huge part of High School Musical, the series, which a lot of people drew inspiration from. I mean, who out there was never a fan of High School Musical? Just the other day on social media platforms, they were celebrating the release of Sharpay's Fabulous Adventure, and to this day, Sharpay Evans has been referred to as a Disney icon. And let me just say this, if you can put Miley Cyrus in the Disney Hall of Fame, you can put Sharpay Evans and Ashley Tisdale in the Hall of Fame for how iconic of a character she is. You know, I said this a couple of nights ago, for those of you who may not have heard my podcast. I really believe that Clarke Cantrell is the Hannah Montana of this generation, and I say this because if you have not seen the music videos for Denim or Goodie Bag, they are incredible. If you have not seen it, take yourself up on the opportunity to watch it. Clarke Cantrell's production skills and production team are going to be legendary. And if she's not already described as a Disney legend, she should be. Why put Miley Cyrus in the Hall of Fame and forget about Clarke Cantrell's contributions as the character Red? But not just that. As a singer, so many people want to be an actress and are aspiring to be one because of Clarke Cantrell. So should she be the victim of criticism? I don't think so. Let me just say this. I will die forever a Clarke Cantrell supporter. And I have proudly said that I will take a bullet for each and every one of you. I say this because Clarke Cantrell is just incredibly talented and so gifted in everything that she does. If they finish Descendants tomorrow and don't decide to make a third one of this new series, making it a trilogy, I will miss the entire cast. I fell in love with Descendants 10 years ago. I still am just as big of a fan of Descendants now as I was 10 years ago. I think it is incredible. I think it is the closest representation to either a Harry Potter musical or a representation of Wicked. I say this because of the flow of the music in that movie and how many people drew inspiration from it. Literally every 5 minutes there was a song trying to explain something behind it, because when the emotions were too high, they used music to tell you the story behind the meaning of something. That's something about theater that a lot of you have to understand. When the emotions are too high in a script or found to be too high, music really tells a story in a way that a script can't. So the flow of the music in this one, from the opening number Red, right on through to the acoustic version of Life is Sweeter When You Are at the end, when the Queen of Hearts reverts to her good side, which you could expect consequences from in an upcoming Descendants sequel. I really believe the music was very powerfully illustrated in this one. It presented a very different vibe from the original Descendants, because it was originally supposed to have been an action-adventure, and then it was turned into an action-adventure musical. But this one was very different. The color schemes were absolutely amazing. And if there ever was anything that Disney could get away with turning into a TV series, it definitely would be this one. They could call it Oradon, focusing on the students at Oradon Prep. You could have China and McClane coming in as Uma. That would be great, excuse me. China and McClane as Uma would be absolutely fantastic in the Oradon musical. I would love to see that on Disney+. Let me just say this, if I had access to $158 million, the possibilities would be endless for the Descendants franchise. Just think about what you could do with a budget of just $10 million alone. Forget about the $158 billion that I have access to. But if I worked at Disney, a lot would be done with Descendants. You will be seeing a lot more than just a stage production between Descendants and zombies. Really. These two franchises have inspired millions of people, have accumulated hours upon hours upon hours of watch time on Disney Plus, and deserve anything but criticism. You guys have heard enough criticism. There are really creepy Descendants videos making the rounds on YouTube. I see them every day in my YouTube recommendations. So if you do anything, please don't watch it. And I hope that you find time in subscribing to this YouTube channel, because you will be kept up to date with everything happening with Descendants and Disney, and all the info that you'll find on sites like D23.com and ThisDayInDisneyHistory.com. I was the biggest Kylie Control supporter fan ever since she was 9 years old. I remember her YouTube show. It was called Hello Kylie. I remember watching her and hearing her opinions on Sam and Cat, and man, they were adorable. I must have watched every episode of Hello Kylie before it had its final production. Kylie Control uses her YouTube channel now to promote everything she has in the way of her content. And let me just say this. I know her content is a lot different from what we saw from Kylie Control maybe 15 years ago, because YouTube premiered in 2005. I know this because I watched Kylie Control's YouTube channel go from 100,000 subscribers to almost 1 million in literally about 6 months. And the content she's distributing now is a lot different from the content that she used to promote on social years ago. But even though her content is very different, I appreciate the direction Kylie Control's career is going in. I appreciate the chemistry between herself and Mila Baker. I know those fight scenes for Descendants were incredibly challenging to shoot, because of course Kylie and Mila are really good friends. They hang out a lot, so there was a lot of emotion packed behind those scenes. But you can't ask for a better cast when the chemistry is at an all-time high, and that's what we got with Descendants. And let's not forget about the cast members who have yet to achieve greatness in their careers, like Ruby Rose Turner, who has a great future ahead for her because of just how much of an inspiration she was to so many young people. Let me just say this. I know I've said a lot on this YouTube channel that I've made a lot of mistakes, and God knows I have. There's probably not enough time left in my life, not enough years, to go back in time and fix my mistakes, which I wish I had the opportunity to do. But the thing is, this franchise definitely inspired us all to be better people. I know that Ruby Rose Turner's character, something I will never forget her for having done, has inspired me to be a better person. Both of my parents passed away when I was really young, and I wish I had more than enough opportunities to go back in time and fix some of the mistakes that I had made with them and spend more time with the ones that I love. Unfortunately, because pocket watches with magic don't exist, or maybe they do on this YouTube channel, I really don't know, I will never have the opportunity to go back and fix it. At the end of our lives, all we're left with are the memories that we cherish and hold dear to our hearts with the ones that we've loved through the course of however long their life was. So we have to make every moment count in our lives. We can't spend the majority of our lives wondering about how somebody feels about us, how somebody thinks about us. We just have to make every moment that we're here on Earth count. And that's what these Descendants and Zombies movies have done. They have inspired countless numbers of people to be better people. And that is what amazes me so much time and time again about Descendants. How you guys never ever quit on Descendants is incredibly mind-blowing and a true inspiration to me as a podcaster. 7.5 years ago, when I had hung up the headset for what I believe to have been the final time, you guys really brought me back from obscurity. I don't know if it was because you loved my voice about Descendants. I don't know if it was because you loved my voice about Disney. Because you guys have really made me the voice of Descendants and Disney for the better part of the last 10 years, which is something I can't thank you enough for. The reality I'm faced with here tonight is I'm up against 15 million critics, and I'm going to be faced with 15 million critics' reviews and critical points of view for the majority of the summer, because we have a 3-month tour for Descendants and Zombies Worlds Collide starting on July 15th. And it's going to be going on for 3 months. So I'm going to be posting videos about the Descendants Zombies Worlds Collide Tour, keeping you up to date on what's happening in the way of that press that's going to be dropping on the internet all summer. So I'm expecting a lot of criticism, which is something that I don't think that this YouTube channel deserves to have. But I'm used to criticism. What I don't like, and what I never have liked, is how each and every one of you are diehard fans of, say, Kylie Cantrell, and every day on the internet you're reading on social that this happened with Kylie Cantrell, that happened with Kylie Cantrell, here's my point of view on Kylie Cantrell. It has broken my heart for long enough until I said the hell with it. I'm creating a YouTube channel where you can be proud to hear something about Kylie Cantrell, Descendants and Zombies. I don't like how people are criticizing your favorite Descendants stars because of the color scheme, because of the plots of the movies, how the movies really let them down. I could be an idiot and come on here and say, I watched Descendants, The Rise of Red, this is what I liked about the movie, this is what I didn't like about the movie, such and such. What is the point of that? Create videos that people are going to be proud of. Let them know you read the books the movies were inspired by. The total of 9 books were created for this one. 4 of them made it to the top of the New York Times bestseller list, an accomplishment in its own right. But also, if you've read books having anything to do with folk literature over the years, like Alice in Wonderland and The Little Mermaid, let them know that too. By the way, how come Ariel's daughter is not in Descendants? How come Hercules' daughter or son is not in Descendants? The daughter or son of Aladdin and Jasmine. There are endless opportunities to create with Descendants and keep the franchise going for the better part of the next 10 years. Why are people saying that this is the end? Because that's what they want you to hear. And that's something that I don't want you to have to hear on this YouTube channel, because you've heard it time and time again. You have watched hundreds of Descendants videos. I know how you are. You guys are searching up Descendants videos every single day. And let's be honest, it breaks your heart to hear some of the things that you are hearing about it, especially when you heard things such as Ruby Rose Turner is leaving Descendants. It broke my heart. It broke my heart to hear that just as much as it broke my heart years ago when I heard that Sam and Cat, after just one season, was canceled on Nickelodeon. I found that at 2 a.m. in the morning. I found out that Ruby Rose Turner was leaving Descendants about a month ago. Because originally I had thought, and I want to apologize, I thought Ruby was going to be a part of Descendants 5 because of the inevitable transformation of the Queen of Hearts, which we actually saw at the end of the movie, and how the movie ended with how everybody got what they wanted, but you can't expect to mess with the fabric of time and not expect consequences. Those were haunting words from Uma, and believe you me, after I heard those words, I couldn't sleep for nights. I couldn't sleep for nights because they were really haunting words, and it got me thinking about the sequel for Descendants and Descendants 5. What they were going to be calling it. Obviously now we can confirm it's Wicked Wonderland going to be happening in present day Wonderland. People have been saying the Wonderland games will be happening. I think that is a bunch of crap because there are so many stories that could be told. We've got Pink coming in to replace Ruby. I don't think she's going to be as an effectively used character as what Ruby is, but I shouldn't say that too, because Ruby was just I'm saying that because I was a huge Ruby Rose Turner fan. Like the Dove Cameron fans out there said, they didn't want to see Kylie Cantrell replace her. They didn't want to see the entire Descendants cast replace as a whole. But the thing you got to think about too is the original Descendants cast believed they had told the story and completed it in the way of Dove Cameron. And then she started showing up on podcasts to make matters worse, saying that she wanted to leave her Disney past behind her. Same thing for Sophia Carson, and to me that really broke my heart because so many people were inspired, drew inspiration from Dove Cameron and Kylie Cantrell, and I said to myself, you guys deserve better. Sure, they may have told the story and completed it, but the story is far from over. I would forecast to say that we're going to be in for Descendants treats and Timbits for at least the next 10 years because there are so many fairy tale characters, and as long as revenue is coming in for Disney, that's what they're all about. They're all about the money. They're all about the cash revenue. They're all about the ratings and the reviews. IMDb can't get enough of Disney, so because of that, with movies like Lilo and Stitch crossing over $1 billion this week at the box office, congratulations, by the way. Phineas and Ferb's reboot premiering tonight on Disney Plus, on Disney Channel. I really think, and eventually, of course, episodes will be available on Disney Plus, just as the Descendants franchise as a whole will be available. The original one is already up there. But when you have a franchise accumulating over 781 million hours for Descendants, 250 million for Zombies, and such a huge story for Zombies coming up this July, with, of course, Ed and Addison's relationship seeing a lot of confliction with the introduction of this new character, Nova, who's pretty much a Kung Fu Panda fighting chick. I want to put it out there that I still want to be a vampire slayer for a zombies movie of the franchise because I think it would be the funniest of all. I think that Addison's exemplification of how 1 minute she wants to be a zombie, the next minute she wants to be a werewolf, and then a vampire and an alien, everything all in the one, I think is a true illustration of just how powerful of a character she was and just how many different personalities she wanted to exemplify. After everything she has been through in her life, no, I don't think she should be subjected to criticism. And if she wants to be a werewolf 1 minute, a alien the next, and now a vampire for the 4th installment, let her be. Let her be. Because she has been through a lot in her own life. She's battled with anxiety, depression. Her mom's been years old. I know how difficult that is. Her mom had cancer diagnosed at the age of 7. My mom had cancer diagnosed when I was just 19. She was 53. The thing about Meg Donnelly's mom is that she got to keep her mom. I didn't. I know what it's like to have a family member suffering with cancer. More than one family member of mine have suffered with cancer. My grandmother, my mom after that, and my sister just a couple of years ago battled with cancer twice. So I have a lot of respect for people like Meg Donnelly who are very open about their struggles in life, because life is often sometimes a constant struggle. But again, that's why I always say that we can never spread enough kindness in this life. And that's why I'm going to be missing Ruby Rose Turner so much, because that's what her character did. She illustrated the importance of the effect of bullying, how it can emotionally affect a person, how it can inspire people to be a stronger person. But ultimately, this movie and these two franchises have inspired us to be better people, to fix the mistakes when we had the opportunity that we've previously made, to keep our friends close and our enemies that much further away from us. It's incredible. It's incredible how much of an inspiration these two franchises have been. I don't really have a favorite franchise of either one of the two franchises, but if I had to pick, it would definitely have to be hands down Descendants. Because every movie of Descendants was great. I know a lot of people will say one was better than the other, but I can't choose. I will have to say one of my favorites, though, was probably Descendants 2. And I did love The Rise of Red, because I've been caught and seen watching The Rise of Red at least 100 times. I must have watched it every Sunday for the better part of the last 5 months. And as one person who knows about Descendants, I know it's really uncharacteristic to hear a guy talking about Descendants on his podcast, but I talk about it because I love it so much. Let me tell you something. Every character that you see in this room makes me happy and are a constant reminder to always be happy and to spread kindness. That's why there's a 3-foot-tall Mickey there in the background. That's why there's a Stitch sitting comfortably there in the background. He looks so adorable. And a Sonic and various other Disney characters like Mickey, Donald, Goofy, and Pluto, and characters on the window there to the side that you can't see because of the lens of the camera. I've also put a lot of money behind this YouTube channel too. I don't know what kind of response this YouTube channel is going to get. Going into it, I was really skeptical. I didn't think this YouTube channel was going to blow up. What happened? I started posting Dove Camera videos for the first time in about 10 years, and every video just blew up, one video after another. Dove Camera video after Dove Camera video, Descendants video after Descendants video, Zombies video after Zombies video, and everything blew up. In no time, they had over 500 subscribers, and now that's expanded to almost 2,685 subscribers, and I can't thank you enough for it, because the reality I'm faced with, I'm up against 15 million critics, and you could be anywhere else on the internet tonight, but you are here. And because you are here watching my podcast, you found my thumbnail amongst, I don't know, 500 thumbnails, but Descendants and Zombies, as you drive your side-by-side through a rabbit hole every single night, and find this YouTube channel consequently. I feel as if you guys have heard enough criticism and you deserve the best. If the song Life is Sweeter When You Are had a very powerful message of how life is sweeter when you definitely are, then I believe that's what you should believe. In no way, shape, nor form do I believe that anybody should have their dreams crushed. Do I believe that a child should never have to believe that happily ever after does not exist and life is sweeter when you are does not exist, because those messages are false. And if you want to believe that life is sweeter when you are because you spread enough kindness, or feel sometimes you never spread enough in the previous day and want to spread more the next, then more power to you. I also want to put it out there that any dream is achievable. If you want to join the wrestling team, if you want to join the cheerleading squad, then do it. I don't think enough positive messages are spread enough in this lifetime. I know there are a lot of idiots out there that are always going to try to knock you. But from where I choose to look at it on this podcast every single night, let me just say this. Every single person who has ever said they are a fan of Descendants and Zombies, you guys are the greatest fans in the world because you are here. You have given me a chance. You have made me the voice of Disney and Descendants and Zombies when you could have made anybody the voice of Disney, Descendants and Zombies, and Disney as a whole. on YouTube as a whole, but you chose this YouTube channel. And I have 3,000 subscribers to prove that. And I don't regret having 3,000 subscribers on this YouTube channel. You guys are the most amazing fans in the world. If you are a first-time watcher of these videos, hi, it's nice to meet you. And if you are a returning subscriber, I can't thank you enough. I don't know where I would be tonight without each and every one of you. You know, one of the most challenging things as YouTube creators to get somebody to hit that subscribe button. And for every single person who has ever taken a chance on me, thought these videos were really cool, the guy hosting the show was really sweet, I can't thank you enough for it. I know it's really uncharacteristic to hear a guy talking about Descendants every night on his podcast, but I do it because you are my niche. And in order for me to come into my niche, what I've got to do is I've got to listen to each and every one of you and provide you with the content, keep pumping it out, even if it is every night on my podcast, because you appreciate this content. Here's the reality we're faced with. I know how much these two franchises mean to each and every one of you. I know how much of an effect, a profound effect, if anything, on each and every one of you, and how many lives these two franchises have significantly impacted and had an effect on. And because I believe that there is never enough kindness spread in this world, and because I wish that I could have been back in time and been in the bookstore when Alice and What She Found Through the Looking Glass was first published in 1872, I will always be here to encourage dreams and to make each and every one of you run away from this YouTube channel believing and saying, hey, Mom and Dad, Jonathan Clarke thinks that every dream is possible, so I'm going to start believing in myself to achieve whatever dream I've got out there. And if I can't do that for a child, then I haven't achieved my goal on this YouTube channel. My goal was never 5,000, 10,000 subscribers like that. My goal was always to encourage you, as the watcher of these videos, who have maybe an hour every night to watch videos in the way of screen time, and of course you watch Descendants. I apologize that you probably didn't find the Descendants video that you wanted tonight, but hopefully you found a video that will inspire you. You'll probably think this guy is cool. I don't know. For all I know, you think this is the coolest YouTube channel in the world. You think my videos are really inspirational. You think the guy hosting it is really cool. And I can't thank you enough for that. All I know is I'm going to miss Ruby Rose Turner. I'm going to miss this franchise if indeed it is finished. But I have never closed the door on the possibility of Descendants 6. And I'm not going to. So what do you say we watch this video together? This is a beautiful video where, of course, Kylie Cantrell is put up to the comparison of Sophia Carson. I don't think there are any similarities between Kylie Cantrell and Sophia Carson. Let me just say that. And they are different people with different personalities in their own right. And Kylie Cantrell has brought the character Red to life just as effectively as what Sophia Carson may have brought to life the character Evie, who had no backstory, which was far more challenging because the Queen of Hearts daughter, Red, of course, she had a backstory. The Queen of Hearts did. We all knew about how she was bullied and was transformed into the Queen of Hearts. But I guess that's where that comparison came from because, of course, Evie's character, Sophia Carson's character, had no backstory whatsoever. But I don't see any similarities between the two. Maybe you do. I really don't know. But what do you say we watch this video together? I think this is the first time I've actually showed it on my YouTube channel, and I'm really excited about it. I think this comparison was done by E.T., but what do you say we check this one out together?
You are saying that you are the spitting image of Sophia Carson, Kylie.
Oh my god.
You see that?
I do see that. It's actually to the point where, like, literally I'll see a photo of her and, like, if I squint or, like, just, like, see it for myself, I'm like, wait. Like, I
see it too, Malia. Do you see it?
Yes.
You're like, I thought it was Sophia
I was
Carson.
on this before the talk, okay?
Right.
We were filming, we had little, like, reference photos. I was like,
I love that, though, because
I
it
want
looks
us
in
to
the
do a
fam.
DNA test.
Oh my god, you
Because
should.
how lit would that be if we were
At
actually
least,
related?
even if it's just for TikTok.
Right.
Like, do some
"Yeah,
sort
Sophia
of, like...
hit me up, girl."
Okay.
I just want to say this. This franchise is absolutely gorgeous. The characters are absolutely beautiful. They take my breath away every single time that I see them. No matter if people criticize the color schemes or not, I love how Bridget's character exemplified pink, Red's character exemplified red. I know to a lot of you it probably is like, okay, your character's name is Red, so your wardrobe has to be all red. Your character's name is Chloe Charming. Cinderella's color scheme was all blue. I know how it goes, but I don't think that we should be subjecting them to as much criticism as what we have seen. We shouldn't be criticizing Kylie Cantrell for a political point of view. We shouldn't be criticizing this star for that reason, for leaving the franchise in the way of Ruby Rose Turner, whom I'm going to miss for forever. I don't know how they can do Descendants, to be honest with you, without Ruby, because Ruby's character was such a critical part of illustrating how the Queen of Hearts became evil in Descendants: The Rise of Red. Now, I know I've heard a lot of people criticize The Rise of Red for up to 45 minutes about how it was a Harry Potter knockoff, how it was a wicked representation. But even though I've heard a lot of criticism, I came away from that criticism thinking that you guys deserve better. So I had a lot of conversations with my friends, especially people after I had retired from my original podcast back in 2018. My original co-hosts and producers thought that my fans probably wanted to hear me say more when it came to Disney, from my love and my passion that I share for it. You guys have been incredibly supportive of my resurrection and return, and you brought me back from seemingly obscurity, and I'm just happy I'm here now, and you can find my videos, and you can subscribe to my YouTube channel. I didn't create this YouTube channel to achieve monetization like many people have done and succeeded with doing for unnecessary purposes and reasons that I won't mention. But I created this YouTube channel just so simply you could hear something that you deserve to hear. I've heard my fair share of criticism about Descendants and Zombies. I have been the victim of a lot of criticism. I remember a couple of weeks ago when the Place to Be music video for Zombies 4, Dawn of the Vampires, received its fair share of criticism. I immediately jumped on my podcast and said, you guys got to stop. And for anyone out there who is criticizing Descendants and Zombies, more especially the fans of the franchises, do not deserve to hear it because you have been a fan of Descendants for, let's say, 10 years. I want to give you my word that I will go nowhere. I will be here for forever, each and every single night. I will have something different or reiterate the same story, even if I don't have anything different to say, for you every single night on this podcast. Because I want to offer encouragement if I offer anything on this YouTube channel. I know I've been the victim of criticism for a very long time, but I know each and every one of you have my back. And for some reason, unexplainably, you have supported this YouTube channel and never quit on it for forever. I hope to see this YouTube channel explode in popularity and have everybody subscribe to it, but one can only hope as a YouTube creator. The next time I'm at Booster Juice or Dairy Queen, one can only hope that you will subscribe to this YouTube channel because I've had my heart broken more times than enough, and I want to admit to on this podcast. I've got a lot of stories where that goes. I've got a lot of stories about my time in high school. I've got a lot of stories about being a Disney fan, and I want to share it all with you on this podcast because, believe it or not, I am just like each and every one of you, and I've shared in the same experiences as you've had in a different way, and you're going to hear about it on this podcast. And I can't thank you enough for always having my hand on what's been an incredible journey, an incredible thrill ride that I don't ever want to end. This is the most fun that I've had in over 25 years, and there is no place I'd rather be than sitting behind this podcast microphone in this chair as the host of this podcast. Thank you guys so much for making me the voice of Descendants and Zombies for the better part of the last 10 years. It has been so much fun. I will never forget each and every one of you because of it, and we've still got a long way to go. So what do you say we take this opportunity, this chance to spread some kindness right now? By YouTube, we will do it again tomorrow night.